Good morning, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? Yes?
Yes,
Hello. Yeah.
Okay. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to the Europe Asia session, the first one for this year. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
So
Happy New Year.
I am recording this, broadcasting this live on YouTube. So recording will be available towards uh, the end of the session. Okay. Typically, I like to record the first one, just so that everyone could get an idea of what we're doing and record a lot of things that we talk about for the forecast for kind of a yearly perspective too. Everyone okay?
Yep.
Yep. So let's begin. Here's the E-mini here. As we know, we've been doing this for a while now. Every week we go for all the global markets. We'll start off on the US side, then we'll go to Canada, Mexico, go to Europe, and then go to Asia, and then we'll start covering a lot of commodities like gold, silver, crude oil, and so forth. One thing to note in the chat room, I did put a new forecast out. There was a couple of mistakes. So I did correct that and put the new forecast out. So please take a look at that when you guys get a chance. Everyone okay with that? Okay, so here's the E-mini here. Last week we had a bearish bar. Does everyone see that? A real bearish bar? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you look at the VIX here, last week we had a what? Fake bar, didn't we?
Yep.
Because it's not colored. That means there's a discrepancy going on. So you can't, I would not believe this real bearish bar. In fact, a lot of people, due to the price action last week, especially worldwide, are thinking that these markets are now going to go for a correction. Everyone understand that?
Mhm.
Yeah. But this red bar does not mean that. You got to follow through this week and go which way? Down. Everyone understand?
Yep.
The other thing is, if you look at the forecast, there's still break highs. So this is start getting to be interesting, isn't it? You got a discrepancy between this bar here and everything. Everyone understand that? Okay. In last night's US discussion, we discussed something, and I want to make sure we go through it with you guys too, to make sure this is clear. Here we made a move with volatility going up, didn't we?
Up to that
Yes.
point. Yeah.
Until what?
Yeah.
Volatility took us up until we have a cross here that was real, that was real. So that became a support, and this became a support too. When you got these crosses and they were confirmed as supports, the volatility came out. Is everyone clear with that? Right? Because we always talk about what could go up with volatility can come down with volatility and retrace the whole thing. The probability to retrace the whole thing back to down here is low now because you have these two supports. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So over here, we've gone up. You have the quarterly line right there. The first week is bearish. You don't have a cross. Okay. So anything can happen this week. Okay. Now, before I talk more about this, I'm going to talk about the others. Let's look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ also had a real bearish bar. It has a cross. So this was going up with volatility, and then this became a support. So now this is a normal trend. The probabilities to come down here are become what? Low. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at the Dow. Now, this is the interesting one. The Dow does not have a cross here. That means this is still going up with volatility. Everyone see that? Yes? Now, one thing is, last week it did not have a real bearish bar compared to the other indexes. Does anyone know why? You guys remember what I talked about last week, the dogs of the Dow. If you
Yes.
don't know what that is, do a Google search on it. But it's typically a rotation of instruments, and this is like a yearly play. So whatever was down big last year in the Dow are things that people buy in the beginning of January to think they're going to reverse. Everyone clear?
Yeah.
So my belief is that here, the reason why we did not close out with a real bearish bar here is because you had this shifting of the dogs of the Dow and a lot of people buying the weakness of last year in the Dow and buying those stocks and now looking to hold them going into this year. Is everyone clear with that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. However, if you look here, this has no support, does it?
No.
So if this starts to go down, it could go down huge because this is still going up with volatility. There is no supports. So if markets start to go down, this could go down huge percentage wise compared to the others. Everyone see that? Yes?
Yes.
Now, you don't see weakness yet. Reason why is this didn't have a bearish bar yet at all. Okay. However, this has a cross. Now the question is, which way will we close? Will we close real bullish at the end of the week, real bearish at the end of the week, or what? If we close real bearish and we have that cross, all it takes is one more bearish bar next week. We could have a resistance to take us all the way down. Do you guys see that?
Manesh, may I ask a question, please?
Yep.
Have you not got a retest type of support at 35382-ish?
Well, yes or no. You tell me.
Well, you've got so first of all, it's a real bear bar off that cross, yeah? But it doesn't confirm. It then tests it and confirms.
It confirms. Agreed.
Yeah. It then
But
breaks it, comes back and tests it.
this is a support. Agreed. But it's a support from where? Back here. It's not something that took you all the way up. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
This
does.
will be an obstacle. But at the end of the day, I still could go through and target this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because if you look here, this broke this without testing it, and at that then it had to come back and test it, which it did and went up. So this is an obstacle, okay, but it's different compared to the support that was created and going up. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. Good.
So these are a lot stronger compared to ones in the past. You okay with that?
Yes, thank you.
But this will be an obstacle. And if you look at the movement from where we're at right now to there, percentage wise, it's a what? A 5.8% correction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is pretty big if you think about it compared to the huge movement we've gone up, hasn't it? Yes?
I don't know how you gauge the scale in proportion.
Well, that's halfway, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay.
Here on the Russell, you have a cross, don't you?
Yep.
So all of them except the Dow on when it went up, they had crosses to take the volatility out and turn them into normal trends, except for the what? The Dow. And if you look at all of them this week, you have a cross. The question now comes down to be will it be a bullish cross or a bearish cross? We don't know to the end of the week. Is everyone clear? Yes?
Yep.
But my comment coming back here is just because you see a big red bar last week does not mean we're now going for a correction. Is everyone clear?
Yeah.
Yep. If we had a cross that was not confirmed, then when we break the previous bar low, then we could say we have a high probability to come back here. But since these are confirmed, there's no guarantee that we're going to come back here right now. You guys understand that? Yes? And in fact, if you look, last week we had all the markets negative. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
And you know it went down with volatility, agreed?
Yes.
Then if you look at my social media, every week I publish TNTs, the volatility TNTs, the black bar results, don't I? Yes? If you
Yes.
look at my TNT results from last week, were majority of the trades bullish or bearish? They were bullish. They weren't bearish. Majority were bullish. So think of it this way. With volatility on a weekly time frame for US stocks, I took bullish trades and won on them against the indexes going which way?
Down.
Down. Sounds a little suspicious, doesn't it? Would you guys agree?
Certainly conflict.
It's a conflict. So this here, so everything from the VIX to everything is telling me be very careful, assuming that this is what? Bearish.
A bearish.
Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Remember, we always go for 2-bar validations. The very first bar is easy to trade. The hardest bar is what? The second, which can reverse on you. Do you guys remember that? Yes?
Yes.
Now, at the same time, let's look at seasonality. In January of every year, I've gone for this like clockwork. And the probabilities for January for seasonality are really crap. You guys see that with the confidence? It's like 50-50, flip a coin. You guys good? However, if you look at the pattern, and this is a pattern I've been trading for years now, and I talk about this in our weekly sessions every January. 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. 2023, 24, and 25 have a high probability of going what?
Up.
Up. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
So this is going to get interesting to see what will happen. And we have this week left to what? To the middle of the month, don't we?
Yeah, it's time for drawdown still.
Right. So we could sit there and have a fake bar and then next week go bullish if we're going to do, or we could go up, get above the quarterly line where we have the first bar above the quarterly line here, and the second week be what? Bullish. Does everyone see that? Yes?
Yep.
Yep.
So if we're doing long-term forecasting based on what we're seeing right now and based on actions seen in the market, i.e., last week, even though we got a bearish bar here, the VIX did not agree, and also trades did not agree. There's high probability we're just going to kind of do really nothing this week at all except consolidate, probably come out with a fake bar. We may even push higher towards the middle of the week. We don't know. But either way, there's high probability the first half of the month we're going to be bearish, the drawdown period, and then the second half we're going to start to push up. And this will carry us into February, and then February and March is typically when you're going to get your correction. Everyone good?
Yes.
Now, that is a forecast that has to be backed up week by week by week, and it has to be backed up with actions, don't they? Okay, so let's wait and see what happens. Everyone good?
Yep.
Okay, let's fly over to Mexico. Mexico was the bullish market here. It also, just like the US side, had a little correction bar last week here. Everyone good?
Yep.
It has crosses here. There's nothing really to talk about. Remember, based on the quarterly, you could start looking for bearish trades at the middle of the week. However, a lot of those conflict with what? The forecast. So if you look at the quarterly and the forecast, you got conflict all across the world, don't you? To a point, it's telling you to stay out of the markets long term this week. Is everyone good?
Okay.
Yes? You could do short-term trades, but I'll be very careful doing long-term. So if you take any trades this week, I would probably, with high probability, unless you see a timing element on the lower time frame that looks really good, close out your position at the end of the week. Everyone okay with that?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes?
Even on the Toronto, yeah?
Well, you're still below the quarterly line, aren't you?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yes. And the conservative approach is looking for both of them to tell you the same story, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So you're still below the quarterly level here. This is still bullish here. It still closed positive for the week last week. But if you look here, still is below the quarterly line right there. So a lot of this, you may need this week to clear out everything going forward. Everyone good?
Right.
Let's go over to London, which is typically a crappy market. Thanks, Richard. If you look at London here, this is bearish here, but look at that. There was a cross that was a support, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't a good scenario at all. So there's a conflict there. And if you look here, what happens? You started off the week and you broke the low, didn't you? And you have a cross now. This one here could get above the quarterly line at the middle of the week. So this is one here where I could be aggressive and start looking for bullish timing element on the lower time frame towards the middle of the week, because you already did what? You went below and now you got a cross. And if you get above this quarterly line and turn out to be a real bar, you're going to have your first real bar above the quarterly line with a possible support, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So this is one I definitely will be looking for bullish trades at the middle of the week for timing elements. Everyone good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. DAX, Germany was being hot. And if you look here, this is interesting. So UK is showing you signs of being a little bullish, whereas Germany is showing you signs of being what? Bearish. There's a cross right there, isn't there? Yes?
Yeah.
It's real. All you need is another what?
Confirmed. Bear bar. Real bear.
Bear bar. Agreed? And if you look here, this cross was never confirmed. So you know there's high probability to come here once you broke the previous week low, which you did. So this one here, based on the quarterly and everything, I can start looking for bearish trades towards the middle of the week, can't I?
Yes, you can.
Now, let's talk about the forecast. The forecast is break high, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the forecast, when it's in break highs, they're lower probability, aren't they?
Well, until the middle of the week. But
In
yeah,
the middle
still.
of the week. So if I get a bearish timing element, it's worth taking the risk because of the quarterly and because I got a cross last week, isn't it?
Yeah.
So middle of this week, I'm definitely looking for timing elements bullish in the UK market and bearish for what?
Yes.
Germany. Everyone good?
Hmm?
Interesting mix, won't it?
It may be a bit of a switch again in the similar way to the dogs.
Yep, it could be. Let's go over to Japan. This really is doing nothing. It closed above the quarterly line here. The forecast and the quarterly are green. So this is one definitely we'll be looking towards the middle of the week to go bullish for the Japanese market, looking for a timing element. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Then we got China, Hong Kong. This is interesting. What? This is below the quarterly line against the major forecast, isn't it? You got a cross, but you broke at the beginning of the week. So if you took this bearish trade, you're definitely going to have to defend your profits for bearish towards the what? Middle of the week, won't you?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. I don't like this bearish. Let me make that clear right now. Okay. Everyone good? My guess is it'll probably come all the way down here, which it did already right there. And in the middle of the week, it'll start to go bullish. and it'll start to get above this cross towards the middle of the week. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
The forecast is minor pullback what? Bullish. Instead of going for a minor pullback, it's gone for a major pullback already. Bullish. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Drum roll. I know Mondip's been waiting for this one. And obey. What happened with the Nifty? So it closed below the quarterly line. Middle of this week, you could start looking for bearish trades, couldn't you? Yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cross that's going down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you think? Bullish or bearish towards the middle of the week?
Middle of the week bearish, but until and unless it doesn't break the low till tomorrow. Otherwise, the first half it breaks low, and then there is probability that it can force.
And if your voice is going in and out, I think I got everything, but here, beginning of the week is bearish. The forecast is minor pullback bullish, and you got a cross. I would be looking for bullish trades towards the middle of the week. Look for a conservative approach for bullish timing elements. Everyone good?
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
assumption that this was not a real bar. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this could just be profit taking right now, but let's see what happens towards the middle of the week, which way we get a timing element. Everyone good?
Yeah.
But based on what I see here, I still would be going bullish with the forecast. Here, same scenario here. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And over here, look what happened here. You have a cross. It's real. It didn't get confirmed, did it?
Nope.
But next bar touched it right here. Now, if we get a real bearish bar at the end of the week, these supports disappear. If we get a real bullish bar as the next bar, then they become what? Supports. So we're right at a support for the Bank Nifty. And this will be interesting to see what happens. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
I would be looking for bullish trades towards the middle of the week, but I would not take them below that support. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So across the globe, you had bearish bars last week, didn't you? But what's interesting is that Indian market did not give me a real bearish bar, did it? Like the Dow.
No.
No, fake
So
out.
it's still showing you strength where when you went down, people were buying compared to the US side for the S&P, NASDAQ, and so forth. So I'd be very careful there and thinking again on this one being bearish, especially. Everyone good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Questions? Okay. Let's go with the gold. Gold had a real bearish bar last week, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It came back and tested this what? Support, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if it's a real bearish bar this week, that disappears. If it's a real bullish bar, then it will stay and be a support to go up. So gold is very critical this week. And Yuri broke the what?
Previous week low.
So this is getting interesting, isn't it? Yuri at the beginning of the day, beginning of the week, started breaking weekly highs and lows. Is that good or bad?
It's bad.
Bad. It tells you we're in for a lot of volatility this week, don't we?
Yep.
Silver over here. Look, there are two supports for silver. The very first one is this one here. It held it last week, and if it's going to break it, it's got to break it this week. Do you guys see that?
Yep.
But if it breaks it, the next support is where? Right there. There's not much reward, is there? Not on this time frame. depending on the lower time frame, you could have enough reward risk to get to that level. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
So this is one I definitely will be looking for being bearish for middle of the week, but I'll be paying attention to money management and the reward risk. Okay?
Manish, the forecast is break high bullish, right?
Yes.
So there's a conflict then in that.
Got a conflict. So I could decide to walk away completely and wait another week, or I could pick a side and be very conservative because I'm looking at the middle of the week and I'm going to be looking for a timing element.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
And the only reason why I'm doing that is because we're at a support. Do you see that?
Right.
So something's got to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In order for it to go up, it has to break this high here, which is a long journey, isn't it?
Yes.
To go down, it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Hmm.
You good?
Yeah.
Questions? The other problem is if you look at the shade, the timing element happened before the shade or after the shade?
It's before.
Is that good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. This is my question in the chat room. Is anyone using shades? Because
Yeah.
you guys are not paying attention to it. If you have a shade here, the timing elements before that, is that good for the bullish or bad?
It's bad.
Bad. It means it's not going to start a long-term what? Bullish
Trend.
trend. You need these timing elements to be in the shade or after the shade. You guys understand that?
Yes.
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yep.
So my question was a trick question in the chat room. I was not going to remove it. I was just trying to get you guys to pay what?
Attention to.
Yes, you got it. Sometimes you have to do weird stuff to get people's attention.
Yeah.
Crude oil. Now, this looks bearish this week. Agreed?
Yeah.
Remember, this is a major, major support. Everyone clear. Okay? You did close above the quarterly line. You have crosses. Right now, we're going down. Forecast is what? Break low. Agreed? So you got
Yeah.
conflict going across everything. And your reward to the downside is very limited to this. So I'll be very careful. And remember, typically or towards the end of the month, crude oil typically starts to move which way?
Bullish.
Up. So I'm looking for us to retest this week and then possibly bounce off there and close above the quarterly line. And then maybe next week start getting a timing element or something to go which way? Bullish. Everyone good?
Yeah.
So if we break this level, things will change. So that's the only thing that could change. But over here, we're going to wait and see what happens. But the forecast is break low. This is already going down at the beginning of the week. That means it's going to have to maintain its profits towards the what? Second half. Everyone okay?
Yeah.
Bitcoin. They're waiting. Let's go. Here's Bitcoin. Look what happened last week. A cross, protecting the quarterly, bullish. We talked about high probability to get here, didn't we? Yes?
Yeah.
This pulled back to the pullback level, hasn't it? Yes?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised by the end of the week we hit this level. And if we don't, it's going to be interesting because then we got a high probability to come here. You get one more real bar. This now is your second support to go which way?
Up.
Yep. Your last support was here, which started the whole crypto craze, didn't it? Yes?
Yeah.
So this will be interesting. Everyone good?
Yes.
Let's go cover the dollar. We talked about the dollar and the 10-year being at critical levels, didn't we? Right?
Yeah.
Well, last week, the dollar closed up. You got it cross. One more real bullish bar, that you could get a support here. This is going to be interesting to see what happens. Everyone see that? It is against the forecast, which is break low. So just like everything else, you got a lot of conflict telling you to what? Stay away. Agreed?
Yeah.
Everyone good? And in fact, if you look in the forecast, I even posted it. A lot of the currency pairs are not dollar related right now. I'm looking at Switzy right now. You guys see that? Yes?
Yeah.
However, if you look at the weekly TNT list, majority of all the dollar pairs are on there. Something's going to happen with the dollar this week. The question is, what? Everyone good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. 10-year. You have a cross protecting the quarterly line. You get one more real bar. This is now a support to go which way? Up. And understand one thing. There was no resistance going down, was there? There's this one from the past, but was there anything taking you down?
No.
No. So this is going to be interesting to see where we close by the end of the week. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
if we close higher, that's now the support, and you now have your first support, which bottoms this thing out to start going up. Gets interesting, doesn't it?
Very.
Because if this goes up, the stock market typically goes which way?
Other
Down.
way.
Down. And which way does the dollar go?
Up.
Stronger, doesn't it? So the 10-year and the dollar in sync right now with real bullish bars last week, except that the 10-year has a cross, whereas the dollar doesn't. Everyone good?
Yep.
Now, before we leave, I want to stress one thing, okay? In the investment chat room, in the IMTF investment chat room, I talked about long-term investment trades, haven't I? I talked about being weekly, agreed?
Yeah.
Right? Like you find things that have moved what? Big,
100%.
right? Huge move, 20% or more. And then you look to go the other way. Agreed? Here's one. There's target. Okay. Then you're looking for a support cross. There's a support cross right there. It was real, came here, and then another one here. So this is the bottom here for target going up. And you could see the momentum going up. You guys see that? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Here is another one. You could see the support cross here to go which way? Up. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yes. There's DG. These are all trades that are great. Everyone see that? Yes?
Yeah.
Now, let me emphasize. You could do this for any time frame, can't you? Yes?
Yeah.
So you could look at monthly, which will carry your trade to the end of the middle of the year, won't it? This could carry your trade for 6 months at least. You guys understand that? Or you could even sit there and do the same philosophy for what? Quarterly. Okay. And if you don't think it doesn't work, take a look at NVIDIA. Here's NVIDIA. Does everyone see this?
Yeah.
Yes? Look what happened January of last year. Real and real. There's your quarterly what? Support, isn't it? Yes?
Yep.
You'll be looking at it because seasonality showed NVIDIA goes up at the beginning of the year. So any seasonality that you have that goes up at the beginning of the year, right? You could look at it for what? On a quarterly. And if it's had a big movement down, then it has a potential to go which way? The other way. And if you look at NVIDIA here, it moved 69% down. Agreed? Yes?
Yep.
And if you look at this here, what happened? This is a confirmed support, isn't it? Yes?
Yeah, it is.
It broke it. Agreed? Then
Yep.
all we had to do this quarter was come up, test it, and come which way? Down. Did it do that?
No.
No, it closed higher. This is showing me there was signs of being bullish. So then all I did was look for a cross in the next what? Quarter. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that easy?
Yeah.
Look here. What do you see here? This is Dollar General was going down, 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 down. I just went to quarterly and I found a cross. Look what it did. I got a cross. And then look what happened last month. It had a chance to break it. It went below it and then decided to come what? Above it. Everyone see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your retirement accounts, if you're looking for major levels, you could go the quarterly or monthly and look for things that have gone up huge, put alerts. Because if you think that you can't get here, look at this. It came down, didn't it? Yes?
Yeah.
Here's my latest target I'm looking at right now. Look at this. Pfizer. Look at that cross. Look where we're at. Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
It
Yep.
held it. If it holds it here, this could come up. If it breaks it, this could go down to a whole new level. And Pfizer then at that point is now going to be in uncharted territory because now you have a high probability to retest all this. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
I
Good
just
trade.
ask a quick question before you head off.
Okay.
You look at that support line, yeah? It's been
Uh-huh.
banging on that for 7 or 8 years now. Isn't disregarded the crosses and things, isn't the highest probability that it will still hold that and go bullish? Doesn't that
Well,
change
depends
the
how weak
perspective?
it's become, right?
Sorry?
Depends on how weak it's become, right?
Oh, you mean the support, how much has been taken
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
The
Okay.
way I look at it is I look at it a different way, Richard. So here's the very first time it got created. It came all the way to here. You good?
Yeah.
It came to here. So the support held. Agreed?
Yes.
If you just look at this as a resistance, then look what happened. It broke it and went higher. So your highs went which way? Higher. The base has remained same. Agreed? So typically this could hold this. If this peak here was lower than that one, and then you retested it, then it would have a high probability to break that.
Yes.
But since we're higher here, this is here, so it's got a high probability to bounce off there and at least come back to here, right there. So the way I'm looking at it is, if you look at price projections and stuff like that, it came to here, came there, came here, came here. Came here. Now remember, you got to wait for actions to confirm all this. It's high probability come here. Then if it makes a move here, it's going to go.
Oh, I see that pattern. Yes.
Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
Because to break this with high probability without guessing, you need your peaks to go which way?
Down.
Lower.
Down. And with this making a higher peak than there, there's high probability this will hold and try to go up and make a lower peak. It could make it there. Ideally, I don't want it to go test there. I want it to come here.
Okay.
And if you look there, now what happens is this will turn into a head and shoulder pattern, and this will break this here. Do you guys see it?
Yeah.
So if Pfizer is, there's high probability it's going to hold and go up, and this are going to be critical levels. If those levels hold, then, and it comes back to this base, then you got a high probability it will crack. And then you could come all the way down in here and it will destroy Pfizer and get it down below 20s for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
That would be fun.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
I love this one. This is a trade that keeps on what?
Giving.
Yeah. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Every year, this one keeps on giving me a reward, right? Why not? Everyone good?
Yeah.
So you could see why I'm targeting this one. You guys see it? Because it got to support here. Look at everything I've been looking at, everything I posted in there for investment trades. They're getting to what? These critical quarterly levels, aren't they?
It's there. Yeah.
And then all I'm looking for is a cross to tell me which way to go. It could be weekly, monthly, it doesn't matter. But I'm taking everything that took a hit last year and looking for it to go which way? The other way. It's the same philosophy as the dogs of the Dow, isn't it? But it's across the board. In fact, years ago, I used to do this annual report. I mean, it literally would take me 2 weeks to create this report where I would look at everything that went up huge and went down huge. And the current year, I'll look to start going which way? The opposite. I'll see if I could find my yearly annual reports I used to do, but it was very detailed and covered every market. Everyone good? So Monday, Abhay, let me ask you this. The Indian stock market's been going up huge, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Which stocks went down last year?
We'll have to
Huge.
see.
I have identified a few of them.
Can you type it up, Monday? Because I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'll post with the charts on the group. It's
Okay.
better that way. Thanks.
So post it in the chat room. Let's look at those.
Yeah.
Look at those. Even though the market's overheated, right? If it remains overheated, what's going to happen is you're going to see bargain hunting. And a lot of those stocks that took a hit last year could be the first ones the institutions buy.
Right.
Everyone good?
Yes.
So, Richard, I'm tasking you for Europe.
Okay.
So, get me a list of everything that took a hit last year. So, you could look at quarterly, you could even look at annually. You guys see that?
Okay.
You could look at annually, and here's a big bar. Okay?
Yeah.
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the chat room, we'll discuss how to trade those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone good?
Yeah.
Okay. See you guys later.
See you later. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Manish.
Thank you.